Hey everyone, this is Mike Clay from over at Pro Football Focus, and this is another edition of the Fantasy Slant. Today I want to talk a little bit about undervalued running back handcuffs. Too often in this game, you see owners pick a player and they feel obligated in the mid to later rounds to take the backup running back on that team, but in a lot of cases that running back isn't very good. So if the starter goes down, you're stashing a player you wouldn't want to start anyway. So the real object is to go out and find good handcuffs, regardless of whether or not you own the starter on that team. Get these players who, if that starter goes down in week 7, you immediately have maybe a top 12 even running back, probably a running back to the rest of the season. So here are a couple guys undervalued right now who have quite a bit of value this season. First one, number 5, Donald Brown. He was with the Colts. He, kind of considered a bust since he was a first-round pick, but he's a pretty good player. Last year, he actually had the 3rd best yards per carry in the NFL among qualified running backs at 5.3. He was actually best after contact with 3.3 yards after contact per attempt. His competition there, Danny Woodhead, he does steal a lot of targets. That's a little problematic, but Brown also very good as a receiver. So, I think he's going to steal both carries from Ryan Matthews and also some targets from Danny Woodhead. Rookie Marion Bryce, he's in the mix there a little bit as well, but not really a threat to Brown. I think Brown's a pretty good player, and he's probably going to push Matthews right out of the gate. Number 4, James Starks, Green Bay Packers. This guy has shown well throughout his career when he's called upon. Doesn't have much competition behind Eddie Lacy. Just DeJuan Harris is there. Green Bay likes him, but Starks clearly a superior back. Last year, Starks led the NFL with a 5.5 yards per carry, and he was also very good after contact. So Starks, probably a guy on the running back 2 radar, considering how good that Packers offense is, and they're going to try and run the ball more this season. Number 3, LeGarrette Blount. He moves on from New England to Pittsburgh this season, and what's key about him is, he is a very good player. Number 2 yards per carry against base last season. Very, very talented player. He doesn't have much competition for snaps in Pittsburgh behind Le'Veon Bell, of course. Dree Archer, Alvester Alexander, Miguel Masonette, not much really there competing, with him behind Le'Veon Bell. So I do like one. I think he's a guy worth a flyer in the later rounds. Number 2, Knile Davis behind Jamal Charles in Kansas City. We got to look at him in the playoffs last season against Indianapolis. I think he's a pretty talented player. He didn't really show it with yards per carry last season, but he's shown that he can tote the ball about 20 times a game, and that is going to be a good scoring offense under Andy Reid in Kansas City. Again, like Blount, not much competition there. DeAnthony Thomas, Cyrus Gray, Joe McKnight, not really much there. Davis, if Charles goes down, Davis has a clear path to a lot of touches in that offense. And number 1, undervalued handcuff running back last season, Bryce Brown. He moves on from Philadelphia to Buffalo. Of course, C.J. Spiller there, expected to lead that team lead that backfield in touches this year. Fred Jackson, he's 33. At some point, he's going to fall off the cliff. It's inevitable. Even if he doesn't, though, Buffalo, if you adjust for game situation last year, talking about the quarter and what the scoreboard showed, they were the run-heaviest team in the NFL. So, they have 2 running backs, both Jackson and Spiller were over 200 carries. If one of these 2 guys goes down, Bryce Brown is in position to play a lot of snaps. Fred Jackson was a running back 1 by the end of the season last year. C.J. Spiller a 2 just because he didn't get a lot of touchdowns. So, Brown, he's going undrafted in most leagues right now, but he's a number 3 running back that's worth owning in most formats. So, for the Fantasy Slant, I'm Mike Clay of Pro Football Focus. Thanks for tuning in.